done in a while. I'm like, how do you? Because it's the way that you can link it.
So I added, there's a place where it says add your destination, and I added the destination to be YouTube. So it's supposed to be showing because it's live right now.
It's showing. Woo,
okay, so all right, I'm gonna.
Okay, so
I'm gonna email it to you.
I'm gonna go to this live, right? And then you know what, you have to post the link that you have for the stream. Yeah, you have to post it in the comment section on the live chat in YouTube. So I will join through that one.
Wait, what?
So you know how you just went live right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the link for this live?
Yes.
Okay, copy that and paste it in your comment section.
Like, so it's on my channel.
So it's gonna be in the like in the. So it's on my channel. Yes, I'm on your channel right now. I can see you like. Okay. Right here.
Let me see. Okay. All right, I've seen it. Sorry, you guys, just some technical stuff. Just trying to get the technical kinks working. First time doing a live with StreamYard, so I don't really know how it works, but yes. Just trying to add our guests. Just trying to add our guests, and then we can go from there. All right, once she comes in, we can start. Just texting her, making sure she got the link in her email, and we can go from there. Hello, everybody. Hello. I was literally recording and talking for a good 10 minutes, and I didn't realize that it was private, so people really couldn't join in and couldn't see. Okay, Bibi is here. Add in Bibi. Baby's on this live with us today. Just in case you hear him making noise, he's right here. He's my personal assistant, so he's right here next to me. Hey, young man, mommy's talking. Hello. So Bibi, I think something happened, so she went off. So we're just gonna wait for her to come back on. But hi guys, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate you guys. Mariam, I really appreciate you Pop. Sorry, I don't want to butcher your handle. Pop. Pisea Lifestyle. Hello. Hi. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you guys very much. Bibi's here again. Bibi, I think you're not connected. You guys, sorry it's taking a long time. We're just waiting for Bibi to join in. She's just having some technical difficulties. She's going to be joining us shortly. How are you guys doing? Where is everybody watching from? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know where you are, where you're watching from. Oh, Miriam, thank you for joining. Bibi, thank you for bringing Miriam. Okay. All right.
Hi, Jesus. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, Miriam is in California.
Hi, Maria. Hi, Pop's lifestyle.
How is Cali treating you? Bibi's here. Okay. So, oh, UK. Okay. Hello from the UK. I know it's probably late. It's probably late right now. It should be around like 6-ish in the evening, I think. Because it's 11, maybe like 5. But hi, ladies. Sorry. Anyways, hi guys. So today, let me introduce myself before I go blabbing. My name is Adaisy Ugorji Okiki, and of course, I'm a YouTuber, and my videos are mainly on lifestyle, mommy videos, reviews, and just vlogs. If you see my videos, you know I have a little boy who's 11 months old, and it's just us and his dad. So it's just my family is just a family of 3. And on today's video, I'm talking about fibroids during pregnancy, and also raising kids abroad. So abroad being America, London, Europe, wherever you might be. So that's just what we're going to be talking about. Thank you very much, Mariam. I really appreciate it. So I brought Bibi on, or Bibi and I are doing this live together because I feel like having somebody's own view on this topic is good. I'm just going to put a disclaimer there. I'm not a doctor. So this live is just from personal experience. My personal experience, what I've seen, what I've heard from other people, and I'm just going off all of that. I'm just going to let Bibi introduce herself, and then we can kick off.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Can you hear me? Yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for jumping on this live. Again, my name is Bibich, and I live in the US. I've been here for a couple years now. I'm a mom. I have a YouTube channel as well, and my channel is about motherhood and a little bit of faith, because I feel like God is something big in my heart. So I talk about that, and I've been away for a little bit because of life happened, and I'm trying to come back by God's grace. So this live with Adeze is just for us to talk about our experience, our testimony, what we go through, and how we have overcome some challenges, because she's going to talk about the challenges of being a mom in this country with no help, and I'll talk about women as our health, what we go through in terms of life, pregnancy, health, and all of those things. So I decided to come on live with her and to share it, because I felt like those topics are also dear to my heart. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having me on your live.
Thank you for joining. So you guys, we've been doing this live. We started the live, and I made a mistake of not making it public. So we were going on and on for about 20 minutes. So we're just gonna go back to the beginning and start all over from the beginning. But before I start, I just wanted to give a brief explanation of what fibroids are, and my definition is from Mayo Clinic. I'm sure a lot of us know what fibroid is, but this definition is just for people at the back who don't know what fibroids is or have never really heard about fibroids. For me, fibroids is, or what I know so far, is that fibroids is a really big thing when it comes to women of color, especially African women. It's really, really common with us, and it's not a topic that people talk about a lot. And I feel like it should be talked about a lot because there's so much to learn from it that would save you so much pain and so much heartache just if you know just the basic of what fibroid is and just how and just getting checked up. So Mayo Clinic says uterine fibroids are non-cancerous growths of the uterus that often appear during childbearing years. Fibroids aren't associated with any increased risk of uterine cancer and almost never develop into cancer. Fibroids range in sizes from seedlings undetectable by human eyes to bulky masses that can distort and enlarge the uterus. You can have a single fibroid or multiple fibroids. In extreme cases, multiple fibroids can expand the uterus so much that it reaches the rib cage and can add weight. So I'm just gonna ask BB a few questions before I give like my experience, and we can all just jump in. And if you have any questions, please just leave it in the comment section, and we can always answer questions as we go. So BB, when did you first hear about fibroids? What are your thoughts on the topic? Have you had fibroids before?
Okay. So for me, I didn't know anything about fibroid. I didn't know it was something that existed. And living abroad is something that I put on myself because of having insurance and being able to go and get checked up all the time. I decided to go to see my gynecologist every year. So I get checked out every year because I feel like it's needed. We don't only have to go and see our normal doctor, but we also have to take care of our intimate part because he's is something that is part of our life and our body, and we have to take care of it. So I usually go and see my doctor every year. I am the type of woman that has a heavy period, and I also get bad cramp. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know why I was getting so much bad cramp. Back home, they will tell you, oh, it's normal. As a woman, you have to go to bad cramp to have your period and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. But coming here and having to go through my gynecologist and having to find out about pills and all those contraception, I told her about how I was having bad cramp and my period are too heavy. Some women will have the period for only 2 or 3 days. My period always lasts for 6 or 7 days, which is a lot. So it's like every month, that 1 week is not mine, it's for my menstrual. And then we did a scan and everything to find out that I have some fibroid. So my experience with fibroid with my pregnancy was that when I get pregnant, my fibroid grew sometime. Without the pregnancy is normal. It was never something that she was worried about because sometimes when it's too much, they would tell you that they are worried about it and they feel like you need to do something, either surgery or get it checked, or we have to do more about it. So when I got pregnant with my second one, some of my fibroid grew, which was in a way for the placenta. So with my first pregnancy, I have placenta previa, which is something that is a concern when you are pregnant, because with placenta previa, you can have a stillborn. There's so many complications that can go through that can happen to you. So that's the reason why, as a women, we always have to go and get checked to know what is going on with your body, because you also have to get your body ready for any pregnancy or anything that you go through, whatever you put in and take out. You have to be mindful of that, because there are so many things that go into our body that is not good for others. There are so many things that we do to our body without knowing that it's harming us. Because, for example, if you have fibroid, without knowing that you have fibroid, and you don't find out till you get pregnant, or sometimes those fibroid can cause something to you without you knowing. So that's why that was my experience with fibroid. And from that first pregnancy, something that I always keep in mind to always check it to make sure it doesn't grow or it doesn't cause any harm to my health overall. Yeah.
Thank you, Bibi. So with my experience, I found out that I had fibroids because my husband and I were ready to start trying to have a baby. So my fibroids started with me having like heavy periods, just like Bibi said, but never paying any attention to it or what might be causing the fibroids. And I used to take my health as a joke back in the day. I never really liked going to the hospital or getting checked. I never wanted to get a pap smear because it was just very uncomfortable. So I never took it seriously until I developed BV, which is bacterial vaginosis, and it was causing so much smell, discharge, and it just made me very uncomfortable. So my primary care doctor referred me to a gyno, and the first gyno I saw walking into her office after checking and like checking everything, she said, "Oh, she can feel some growth in my uterus, and they would like to do an ultrasound check to make sure that everything is fine and to know what's causing the growth." So, sorry guys, that's my doorbell just in case the ringing is really loud. So after the ultrasound, the vaginal ultrasound, she said that I had a ton of fibroids, and some of them were not concerned because they were not in the uterus. But then the one that was, or the few that were concerning were in the uterus lining, and they needed to be taken out because where they're positioned would make it hard for implantation. And if I was to get pregnant, it would make it hard for the baby to grow because there won't be enough space. So my husband and I agreed to have a procedure done for the fibroid to be taken out. And after the procedure was done, um, I went home hoping that everything was fine. And she said, "Oh, she's never had any patient have any complication. She's never had any issues. She's so good at what she does. This is her specialty and whatnot." So I went home. My mom was there, and I started bleeding. I started having so much pain, and like I ended up going to the emergency room the same day at night. And for some reason, the doctor was on vacation, even though she had just done the surgery that morning. She went on vacation after, and I was in the hospital. Long story short, I was in the hospital for a week, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with me. They called in the CDC. They did a lot of like blood work, a lot of stuff, but they still couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. But finally, the pain went away with like heavy pain medication, and I was fine. And I came back home, and they put me on birth control. Said I have to take birth control for a whole year, just to make sure that the fibroids would shrink or the other ones would shrink, and I can go ahead after a year to start trying to get pregnant. So I did that for a whole year. And after a year, my husband and I stopped and we started trying all over again, but things just didn't feel right for me. And I told my husband, "You know what? I would like to find another gyno in a different hospital and get a second opinion." And I kind of blame myself the first time for not getting a second opinion. I think it's just because in my head, I just wanted to get everything taken care of. So the second doctor went in and was like, "Oh, you have fibroids." And the question I had asked him was, does he show that fibroid was taken out before? And he said he doesn't see any scarring to show that fibroid was initially removed, and he doesn't know what the doctor took out, but he's going to try his best to take out the fibroid that was in the uterine lining just to make things easy for me. So when he did his own procedure, everything went smoothly. I was fine and literally walked out of the hospital myself. Whereas the first one, my husband had to like wheel me out of the hospital, and I was in bed for like a whole week. So this one was like a little skeptical. It's like, okay, is this one good? Like, did he do a good job? How come I'm fine and walking? But we were just hopeful. We just stayed really hopeful. And I got pregnant 4 weeks after, which was so exciting. And then when the doctor found out that I was pregnant after 4 weeks, he was like, well, he thought we were going to wait at least 2 months before trying. But I'm like, you know what? Being my age, I was about 29 at this point, and I got married when I was 26, about to be 27. I'm like, it's hard when you have friends who are pregnant and you just really want to have a baby, and then people who don't want kids got pregnant. And then with me, it was just like just one hurdle over the other, and it was just really, really painful. Like I was always crying and always complaining. Sorry guys, my phone rang, so it kicked me off real quick. Sorry about that. So I was always crying and complaining as to why I wasn't pregnant. So when we were finally pregnant, it was an exciting time for me, my husband, my whole family. Everybody was excited because oh, hi Damilola, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody who just joined in, hi, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. It was a good time for my whole family because I'm the only daughter. It was going to be the first grandchild for my side of the family. It was just a really exciting thing. But long story short, I ended up losing the baby at the beginning of last year. Losing the baby was not because of the fibroid. It was because I was leaking fluid and I didn't know. It was my first pregnancy, and everybody I had asked told me that they didn't know what it was. And I met a doctor and told her, oh, I'm leaking. Well, I met a nurse practitioner and I told her I was leaking fluid, and she was like, oh, leaking discharge is regular, it's common during pregnancies, it's one of those things. And so I didn't pay any attention to it till I finally ended up going to the hospital, and they're like, oh, you're 2 centimeters dilated at 21 weeks and living in the New England area of America. They don't really do anything when your baby is that young. They can't really put the baby in an incubator to save the baby. Like the doctors told me point blank, we can't really do anything about this. The only thing we can do is to do a cerclage for you, which is like stitching of the uterus, and to try to keep the baby viable until 27 weeks, and then we can put the baby in the incubator. And he told me you have two options: is either you terminate the pregnancy right now, or we do the cerclage and it's a 50% chance anything can happen. And I opted for the cerclage because I'm like, I've tried so hard to get pregnant. I'm not ready to terminate this pregnancy. But we did the cerclage. I ended up losing the baby like the next day, which was just really difficult and whatnot. And yeah, it was just a whole roller coaster after that. But to go back to fibroids, I feel like if I had known about fibroids earlier and had more knowledge and taken things really, really seriously, a lot of things that happened after that wouldn't have happened, and a lot of those complications wouldn't have happened. Thank you, Damlotta. Thank you so much. With my second baby, I still had fibroids, but I didn't have any procedure done to take out the fibroids. I ended up getting a cerclage placed. Like my cervix was stitched at 12 weeks. At 12 weeks, my cervix was stitched and I was put on bed rest. So I was home pretty much my whole pregnancy just to make sure everything was fine. But then the funny thing about that was when I had my son, or the day my water broke and I went to the hospital, we had to have an emergency C-section because the fibroids were growing the same time my baby was growing. And it was never showing up on the scan. So nothing was showing up during any ultrasound. Nothing showed up. It just seemed like I had a smooth pregnancy the whole time. The baby was very active. So when it came to time for delivery, it was a concern as to why his heartbeat was dropping and why everything was going downhill so fast. And during the emergency C-section, I found out that with every contraction, the fibroid that had grown was squishing my baby's neck and making it hard for him to breathe. So kind of like cutting oxygen supply from him. So when my son was delivered, he came out looking purple with like bruises on his face because the doctors had to like literally pull him out because like the fibroid was like blocking everything. So it was a lot of questions as to how come the fibroids were not seen on the ultrasound. and why it got this big and why it was possible for it to be squishing the baby. But thankful to God, everything went well. He's here. He's 11 months. I'm excited, but I still have the fibroid. It's still there. Right now, I had to, for me to be able to get pregnant again, I had to get an IUD, as the doctor said, to help keep the fibroids from growing. So fingers crossed, the fibroids are not growing, but I can still feel pain. I can still feel the fibroids, but yeah, that's
Wow,
my
wow,
story.
wow, wow. That is a lot. That is a lot to take in. Like it's a lot. But I think it goes back to the reason why we wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's something that there's so many topics when it comes to your health that you have to be acknowledged of. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
realize that in today's healthcare, if you as a patient you don't ask question, you are not aware of so many things, you don't tell them do this for me, I'm going through this, do this, they overlook so many things.
Yes.
Like for example, if you didn't go to that first experience, you will not be equipped enough to know exactly how to move forward in
Mhm.
terms of okay, me being pregnant after 4 weeks for what I've been through, this is what I need you guys to check. You are alert, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, for example, for my second pregnancy, I had 3 accidents back to back. I was bleeding from 15 weeks till 38 weeks. They thought I would have a stillborn. They thought I would not have my kids would not survive. But then, being in a health, because I work in healthcare field before, I realized that if you don't ask questions, the
Mhm.
doctor thinks you don't know. Because most of the diagnosis, I feel like they guess or they don't know what is going on themselves. So they have to figure out what is going on and they have to find a way to make things work. It's like I was bleeding. We don't know what was going on. I was in the hospital, hospitalized for a whole month, doing ultrasound every day. They still don't know what is going on. I had to deliver that baby at 38 weeks for them to find out that I have an abruption of the placenta.
Wow.
Thank you. Abruption of the placenta that can kill a baby in your womb. But they didn't cut it. So I was having an abruption of the placenta, which is where the blood was coming from, which is where the baby was getting food from and nutrition from. It's like, it's mind blowing. And like you said, by God's grace, your son is 11 months today. And I will add to
Yes.
it and say, by God's grace, my son is what, 7 going to 8 years old today. It's like you have to be, as that's what we said, as women, you need to know your body. You need to know that you have to go get checked. Because for me, at first, don't get me wrong, I was afraid to go to the hospital because I don't want to hear anything. I'm afraid that if you tell me something, how am I going to survive it?
Mhm.
But I realized that it's better to know, to start finding ways to fix it, than not to know and to get to the stage where there is no remediation, they can't fix it anymore.
I'm just gonna answer a quick question that says, can they remove the fibroid? So, with me and what I've been told, and you know what, at the end of the day, you never really know what it is, but I've been told that after my fibroid is removed, it's still going to grow back. So, during while when I was pregnant, I was taking a shot to make sure that fibroid wasn't growing, and I guess the shot wasn't working. So I was taking an injection every week to make sure the fibroid wasn't growing, but it was still growing, and nobody knew about it. And right now, the fibroids are still growing. So the only way at the end of the day to rid myself of all these whole fibroids and everything is to take out my uterus, which is something I'm not planning on doing right now because I'm still trying to have I'm still trying to have more children, you know? So in the long run, if I have another baby and worse comes to worse, then I'm going to think of going that route because once you're somebody who has fibroids and you're prone to heavy bleeding, because fibroids feed off on blood. That's the
Mhm.
thing. They feed off on blood. So if you're one person who has like really heavy period, it's the thing that makes them grow and grow.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying from what I've seen so far and what I've heard and what I've read and like everything that's happened with me. they feed off of blood, and that's what makes them grow so much. So when I was pregnant, what was making the fibroid grow was all the things that my baby was getting. It was just enjoying it and just having the time of his life and growing also. So hopefully when I'm done with having kids, if I'm gonna go the route of taking out my uterus, it's gonna go that way. But I don't know for now. I'm just gonna keep watching. Even with the IUD, I'm not 100% certain that the fibroid is small enough for me to get pregnant right away after I take off the IUD. Like more checks have to be done to get to that process, which is something that I feel like, or in my heart, I feel like a lot of women who you go to the hospital and they tell you, oh, you're infertile or you're this or you're that, especially people back home in Africa. A lot of people don't know that they're suffering from fibroids because fibroids can make it hard for you to get pregnant. And a lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people haven't realized that. I just wish that the healthcare system back home made it easier and it was more accessible for a lot of people, because if you don't have money, you can't really go to a hospital because doing the test, doing the check for all of this stuff is pretty expensive. Even for us who live here, if you don't have insurance, sorry for you. You're gonna be paying from your tea. So it's a lot to think about. It's a lot. Like the whole topic that has to do with fibroids is a lot, and I feel like every woman, Black women, woman of color, you need to go get checked out to make sure that you're fine. It doesn't happen to everybody, but some of us just fibroid just happens to love us. It just keeps coming. So
And
we
I
just
think
need
to
to check.
and I think to add to that as well, I feel like just know also that some fibroids are not harmful to some women. Like you can
Sure.
have it, it's not gonna grow, and it doesn't bother anything. So they will
Mhm.
tell you we're just going to be checking it every year when you come for checkup. So
Yeah.
just be mindful of that as well. And also I feel like being back home when I was having heavy period, for me it was normal. It's
Mhm.
just normal that I'm one of those person that my sister was her period was only 2 or 3 days. Mine was 7 days. For my
Mhm.
parent, for my mom, it was normal. So it was nothing, it was not a sign for me to get checked. But
Mhm.
just keep in mind that when you're having all of those things, just go get it checked. It might just be more normal for you that your cycle are longer, but when you have so many bleeding for your menstrual, is a concern for you to get it checked, just to make sure. It's better to check it and be sure that nothing is going on than not to know what is going on. So yeah.
I have a friend who was pregnant with fibroids, and it looked like she was pregnant with twins. And she had to have her baby at 27 weeks, and the baby was put in
Yeah.
the incubator. And then
Wow.
after like a month, they took out the fibroid, which was the same size as the baby. So,
What?
yeah, yes.
Wow.
So fibroids, it grows crazy.
My
So
sister has
my
one
cousin
of her
has
anything.
hers removed, and now she has like 4 kids. I'm really, really happy for her. I'm really,
Mhm.
really grateful. And I pray that I would reach that stage where all of mine can be taken out and it would not cause me like any pain, because the pain that comes with fibroids is very, very uncomfortable. Like firsthand, it's very uncomfortable.
And
But
Damilola said, I was bleeding for days doing ultrasound twice daily. Was the ultrasound through when you were pregnant or without
so
pregnancy? I
she
just
had
wanted
the
to know.
same issue. She had the same issue as you. So she had the
As you?
placenta previa.
Oh, Previa. Okay, got you. Okay, got you.
There's a lot of stuff that happened to women during pregnancy. Another question: after removing it, does it grow back? Sometimes it does. Like mine just likes my uterus, and I'm laughing because it's
It's just
funny.
like your body.
It just really likes my body. I guess I'm just warm on the inside, and it just likes growing. But yes, mine actually has grown back a couple of times, and yeah.
But I
So
like the positive side about it because you say you're laughing now because the thing is, even if you cry, what is that gonna change? You know what I mean? It's like I feel like sometimes we just have to find positive things to help us to keep us going, you know. I have
mhm.
it already, so I just have to find a way to live with it. and find a way
That's
to fix it, which is what you have done with the second baby.
that's true.
So by the grace of God, that's all we can do.
That
It's
is
not
so.
easy, but it's good to. I think one thing that I learned is just get yourself checked. Get yourself checked.
That
And
is
also when you go get it checked, make sure if you feel like okay, the doctor give you a diagnostic and you don't feel good about it, get a second opinion.
true.
In this nowadays, second opinion is always needed because sometimes they don't know. They might just guess as well. So second opinion is always needed. And also follow your instinct a lot. That's what I realized. Following my instinct has helped me a lot when it comes to healthcare because as a mom as well, when it comes to your kids' health and everything, you have to follow your instinct and be okay to ask question. They are there for that. Ask question on top of question. So
So
yeah.
Kami Madu said, had some with my first baby, but after the baby, it felt like I feel better until I took in for the second baby. So I don't know. Fingers crossed for you, Han. Fingers crossed for you that um the fibroids don't cause any or didn't cause any complications with your second baby. I know you just had a baby, so fingers crossed. I'm happy that your baby was born and everything went well. I'm happy for that. So the second topic is pregnant with fibroids, and I feel like we've already kind of like spoken about that a little bit. And in that pregnant with fibroids, I kind of want to talk about having your baby via C-section because honestly, the next person who is going to open their dirty mouth, sorry, I don't mean to curse on live, but who's going to open their dirty mouth and talk bad about women who have their babies via C-section,
Yeah.
like, and you're not a woman, you don't know what it is to carry a baby or to have a baby via C-section, like, I'm coming for you,
I
like,
just I don't understand why it has been a thing for people to think that C-section is that you are not a woman enough. Me, the only reason why I got scared of C-section because I felt like it's a lot to go through. So me, my only thing was I'm scared of C-section. But what I realized at the end, right? The route that God decides for you to go is what you're gonna go through. You can say, "Oh, I wanna," and the thing people keep thinking, "Oh, if you're healthy, you don't have any health issue, you will never have C-section." Let me tell you, that is a big, big fat lie.
Mhm.
I have a friend that her baby is 2 months right now. This girl, she's 26 or 26 years old. A healthy girl that does soccer. She plays. She's on diet. She's follow her. She's like clean. Nothing was wrong with her pregnancy. Everything went through correctly. Her water broke normally. She went to the hospital. She was 2 or 5 centimeters. After 6 centimeters, she was not progressing anymore. To the point where they had to do a C-section at the end. She was shocked. Because I feel like people need to understand that C-section or natural delivery, they are all the same. Nothing is, you are not better if you only go to natural, and people that go to C-section are bad or are not woman enough. No, it's what happened at the end. What is going to save you and your baby to be healthy at the end is the route that you have to go through. It's just that when you go through C-section, at the end of that C-section, your body go through so much, you have so much more pain than people that do it naturally. That's the only difference. I don't know why it's a big because I feel like it has been a trend. People think that people that go through C-section are not women enough. I don't get it.
Pops say lifestyle, please share your experience with us in the comment section. Please share your experience with us in the comment section so we can talk about it. But the issue with C-section is I think it's an African mentality or an African thing. And it's a very, very wrong notion of condemning people who have had their babies via C-section because you never know what led a person to get to that point.
Yep.
Some people naturally elect for C-section
Yep.
because they know that their baby is probably too big and they're not going to be able to push the baby out. So they just naturally elect for C-section. In some women's
Exactly.
cases, the doctor tells you you have to have a
And they tell you from
C-section
the beginning. Mm-hmm.
of your health condition. You have to have
Mm-hmm.
a C-section. You, in my case, I went in there with the champion mind saying I'm going to push my son out, but there were other plans, and I ended up
Yep.
having the baby via C-section, and I felt like that's the worst pain I have ever felt. My son is 11 months, and my C-section still hurts. It still hurts till today. And I've heard that it takes a long time for it to heal. And I didn't even have the regular C-section. My C-section scar is not the regular line
Is
like
the
this.
all overall?
It's like a T because of the
Oh,
fibroid. So mine is totally different. So for people to sit down and look down on women who've had their babies via C-section is very wrong. Every woman needs to be given her crown for however
having
she,
a baby, yes.
because carrying a baby for 9 months and walking into a hospital and coming out with the child, huh, people don't understand what it takes. It's not just about getting pregnant. It's really not.
Wow, you see the question. I just gave birth, and the only question people ask is, is it through C-section? Nobody's asking if you are fine. They just want to know because it was a breech baby. I just say it's C-section. Don't stress me. Of course, they shouldn't stress you. What kind of question is that?
Like,
Is it,
do people expect somebody to push out the breech baby? Like,
I
yes,
don't get
sometimes
it.
it can be turned, but it's not in every single case. And it's not every I've heard stories of, excuse me, of women who have refused to have C-section because they don't want the stigma that comes with it, and then they end up dying on the table.
But to tell you the truth, I don't blame them because when you think about mental health, sometimes it's affecting people. You don't know what people are going through. Because sometimes because it's not everybody that is equipped enough to not let people what people say affect them. So if you are one of those persons that what people say affect you a lot, of course you're gonna go to school because already your hormone are high already,
Mhm.
and you are going through a lot of ring having to carry that baby for 9 months or how many months you carry it, and now people are want to judge you for if you have C-section or not, or if it's a lot. My thing is, I feel like when for me, for example, when they tell me about C-section, the only reason why I'm afraid of C-section is because I'm afraid of the work I have to do by myself living abroad. When you have C-section, if you don't have anybody, it's a lot to go through. You can barely move, but you have to be there for that baby because the baby needs you. There's no mom, no auntie, nothing. It's you. Like my sister just had I think her baby is 2 months. My older sister, mom is not there, nobody's there. And her C-section was not the little one. It's the overall. It's like, oh, I was like, what kind of C-section is that? It's overall. Mm. It's crazy. People need to be mindful of how people are feeling. And I feel like sometimes, what if I want to give a comment, I want to say something to someone, I always put myself into the shoes. Because C-section or not, it's still, my baby is here, yes or no. We are both healthy. That's all matters. Don't even ask me if I have the baby normal or C-section, because that's none of your business. I will tell you straight to your face. It's none of your business. My baby is fine and I'm fine. We thank God. Period.
Nashirat said, I almost had C-section for my second baby because I couldn't anymore. Been on labor for a good 2 days. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I begged the doctor for C-section the moment they started prepping for this operation. The baby came. That is great.
Yep.
Like,
Let's go. Let's do it.
I've labored for that long, but my case is different. It was an emergency. We needed to have the C-section to be able to save my son's
To
life.
save the baby.
But everybody's case is different. Like, there was a lady who did a video about what people said to her after she had her baby via C-section and how they told her. I think somebody said they're ashamed of her or something so silly, and she posted it on her YouTube channel and she was fuming because she's like, how would you even look me in the face and say that? I think her name is Funke something. I can't remember what her last name is. But if I remember, I'm gonna tag her in this video. It's very annoying. I have leg paralysis. Nobody's asking about my well-being. If my doctor had listened to me because I felt something was wrong, we would have done a scan before I went into labor. Wouldn't have. See? Like,
That's a lot.
it's just, if I feel like if every woman just comes and says their story of what has happened to them when it comes to childbearing and child delivery, like everybody has a different story to tell.
That's true.
The ones that feel like they are the champions and it's their right to tell people, had my baby back.
What is
VBAC?
that?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what VBAC is. is it where they use the vacuum to pull the baby out? I think.
Is
Like
that a
this.
thing?
Yes. I
Oh, I
think
didn't know.
one. But you see, everybody just has a different experience when having baby. She has leg paralysis, and that's probably from getting an epidural. That's probably from getting an epidural.
Mm.
Nobody talks about that. I think I've had
Yeah,
epidural.
you make your legs feel like elephants. Your whole body feel like elephant.
I've had epidural 4 times, and right now I have
4
sciatic.
times.
Yes, because with each time that I've had um my fibroid taken out, which is twice, I've gotten epidural, and I've had my cerclage placed twice, so I've gotten epidural. Well, 5 times, and then when I had my son, 5. So I've had epidural 5 times, and once I had epidural, my back was swollen, like my spine area was swollen because of like they were trying to find the correct spot and they kept missing it. So, and I have sciatica right now where I have like pain in my left leg. It's when the pain comes,
Wow.
it's like I can't even walk. I've taken pain medication, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. And somebody's going to sit there and tell me, "Oh, I'm not woman enough. I had my son via C-section," not knowing the pain that I'm going through or what happened to me.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Wow.
No, no. Anyways, the question of raising children in America. Okay, Bibi, I'm gonna put this because you have
Why?
kids than I do, and I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, so my case is different. And I know it's not easy to be a stay-at-home mom. Let's get that right, and let's give stay-at-home moms their hearts because it's not easy to be a stay-at-home mom. But I'm gonna let you talk first before I like share my own experience of raising a baby in America. All right.
So raising the kids in America, I'm laughing because I feel like it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot because we need to give ourselves credit because sometimes you go through so much. You go through so many in terms of even your mental health because it's just a lot on you as a woman. Like both of my babies have to go to a daycare at 3 months. So imagine at 3 months in the cold, having to drop the baby and doing all of those things. That's why, to tell you the truth, when I'm looking at Nigerian YouTuber and they talk about unugu, I just wish omugu. Okay, you see, can you pronounce? I'm like, I wish I have that. That's whenever I watch that I'm so in the I'm like, oh my god, I just so wish you guys are so blessed to have that. Raising the kids here in this country it's I would say is another wahala because it's a lot that you go through as women. Because I feel like after going through that whole 9 months, you want to breathe a little bit, but then you don't have that space to breathe. But I realized that one thing that I realize is I always say one thing. I say God does not give you something without knowing that you can go through it. I think that's what has kept me throughout the years because without me having that mindset, I would not be what I am today. Without me having that mindset that it's gonna be okay, that God knows why I'm in that predicament, I will not be here today. Because I feel like you go through so much, you cannot sleep. You don't have enough sleep, but the baby is crying. The baby needs you. That's why in this country they talk about postpartum depression. At first I was like, what is that? Why are you depressed because you just had a baby? At first I'm like, that is not the thing. And then you know how when you're pregnant, sometime before you even deliver, they ask you, are you going through any depression? Do you have because they know there's a lot that you go through. Your mind is going through so much. Exactly. They ask you that you go through so much. Because they know at some point when it's time to when you're getting to the third trimester, you're at the end, you're thinking about so many things. How am I going to survive this? I'm bringing a new human being to this life. If it's the first one, how is that even going to happen? How is that even going to work? So there's so much that you go through that at the end, you want somebody to be there for you to help you out so you can get that sleep. Like I have been, like for my second one, I told my husband, when I deliver this baby, I come home, the sleep I will sleep because I like to sleep on my belly. That's how I can sleep. So being pregnant for 9 months, I couldn't sleep on my belly. So I'm like, when I come home, I turn the phone off. If you wake me up, the sleep I will give you. I don't know if you will say I don't respect my husband because you need that. But I would say that if you're in the situation where you live alone, you live abroad, and you don't have any help, what has kept me going is finding time for myself. Like, if you have a husband, for example, they come home, my dear, give that baby to them and go. Go get a breather. You need to breathe. Even if it has to be you walk alone, go do that. Most of the things that I do is I run a bath for myself. I go in that bathroom, light my candle, get something to drink, and stay in that bathroom for as long as I can. Because that's my me time. Don't disturb me. Don't come to me. And my husband knows it's her time to just take a breathing. Like it's needed. And if you are the type of women that don't have any husband, you're a single mother, right? They always say trying to get enough sleep when your baby's sleeping. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. It's one thing that I used to be scared of. I don't like to ask for help. It's just because I always feel bad to ask somebody to watch my kids because I'm afraid that they're going to say no or I'm bothering people. But if you need to, ask for help. Open up. As an African, being here at the beginning, it's a taboo to say, oh, I'm having mental break. What is that? Or is it taboo to say, oh, I'm going through mental issue? It used to be something that we cannot even come up and say, oh, I'm having depression. What is that? Do you know what depression is in the first place?
So many people dying and killing themselves because they can't talk.
Exactly. And it's still going on. So please, if you're a woman and you're going through some things after having a baby or with the stress of life living abroad, please open up. Ask for help. Go drop the baby to a friend's house. The baby is going to be fine. Just go and take that deep breath.
Go drop your baby to a friend's house.
Yes, you have to now.
That's something I would not do, honestly.
Why?
Especially in this country, and not just even in America, with the way the world has changed right now, and people raping people's babies and people kidnapping people's kids. I am so like somebody would say I'm probably mad and I'm paranoid because you never know who the predator is.
But if you keep that paranoia in your head and you are going crazy, you can harm your baby. You know that, right?
I know that, Bibi, but you understand how everybody has to stay vigilant. Like me, my experience. Like my parents are in America. Like I feel like everybody knows at this point that my parents are in America, but my parents are young enough that they are still working. So when I had my son was in the hospital for 1 week. My mom stayed with me because my husband had to go back to work. So my mom stayed with me in the hospital. I was with my baby in the hospital for the whole 1 week he was there because I refused to leave. So my mom was with me for like 3 days in the hospital, and then she stayed a month with me at home. But she had to leave because she had to go back to work. And the day my mom left, I was literally crying because I'm like, okay, I'm still healing from my C-section. And then now I have an extra person I have to take care of. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to happen. The first day I showered my son because I had to shower him by myself. My husband came and the whole bathroom looked like somebody was fighting in the bathroom. Like it was winter time. There was water all over the floor because it's a baby. So you have to shower them in their little baby thing. And I really wanted to give him the proper Nigerian baby shower, like putting him on the floor. There was water everywhere on the floor. Clothes were everywhere. My body was soaking wet. I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying. Like I didn't know what I was doing. And somebody would be like, oh, I would say I had help and then I didn't have help because my mom had to go back to work and she would come on the weekend when she had the time because she's living in her own house. She has things that she can't just leave her life because of, oh yes,
because of you having a kid. Yeah,
thank you for sharing your own part of the story. Appreciate it. But she had her own life, so she really couldn't be with me 24/7, and I had to learn like on the go. And even till today, as he's 11 months, I'm still learning because with kids, their sleep schedules are changing every single day. Things are changing. They're eating. Okay, now my son is walking. He's been walking since he was 9 months, and I'm like picking up everything and just running around the house, hiding things from him because I just want him to be safe. So like it's a hit or miss. You might have people who can help you. Like my brothers are here. I don't have take my phone. I have people who are here, but then I'm not saying that my siblings or my friends are going to hurt my child or something like that. But then just knowing everything that's going on in the world just keeps you on your toes because you're worried because you don't want anybody to harm your baby, especially with the fact that they can't talk. Like all those crazy things also happens in daycare. Like it happens in the daycare
everywhere.
You don't
I think the way you said it is good because you have to be mindful, right? When I say leave your baby out to somebody, I'm not saying a stranger though. No. But somebody that you can trust. But again, be mindful of all those things going around too. But then don't be too much paranoid that you are going through something as well. And then you want to take care of a baby. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a lot that you have. Hello. Hi. So we have to also be mindful of all of those things. If you are mindful of all of those things, and I feel like in this world that we live in now, it's all by the grace of God, you know. It's all by the grace of God. It's all about. There's so much going on. There's so much.
There's a lot.
So much.
There is a lot of stuff going on. I can't thank you guys enough for joining this live. It was really good talking to you guys and sharing our experiences. I really appreciate everybody who joined this live, and I hope you learned one or two things from this live section. Thank you very much. Thank you. My baby's cute. Thank you so much.
You wanted to share your experience as a stay-home mom, right?
Oh, my experience as so being a stay-home mom is fun because I am on top of every single milestone my son has to go through, and I'm teaching him myself, and I'm grateful to have that experience. I'm grateful that it's worked out for my husband and I in a way where I was able to stay home with my son for almost a year now. And with that, it's given me the opportunity to know when, like, to know my son's cues, to know when he's sick or when he needs something. Like, I can be sitting with a bunch of people in the living room and I know exactly when my son is hungry and I know exactly when he wants to sleep. And people are like, wait, how do you know? And I'm just like, yeah, look at his face. He's hungry. I just know it. And I know it's like a mom's intuition and it happens to anybody, but staying at home, it's good. And then it also has its bad sides. The bad side is where it's just you and the baby all day. I feel like you're learning more baby stuff because you're doing more baby things and things to teach your baby, like alphabets and to walk and to talk and all of that stuff. And your interaction with grown-ups is limited. For me, who I don't really like going out with my son because I'm so scared about him getting sick, getting a cold, especially with the weather changing. I don't really like him. It gives you the opportunity to bond with them. That is very true. But I just don't like going out to public with him a lot. Like if I don't have to, I don't go out. And that's made it hard for me to see people who are like my friends, to see family members. And with us that we've moved a bit far away from family, it's a lot different now because I'm by myself. It's just me and him. I don't really know much people around. It's like learning a new environment, learning new things and all of that stuff. And it kind of affects your mental health a little bit because 24/7 you're with a baby. When the baby's dad comes home, yes, they would help you here and there a little bit, but because of how close you and your baby have gotten, they come to you for every single thing. Like my son will be playing with his dad and I would just cough, like he forgets that I'm there for like 2 seconds and I would just cough and you could see him fighting to come off his dad. What is he coming to do? He's coming to come and sit next to my leg in the kitchen. Not like he's doing anything. He just wants to stay there and know that he's next to me. And yes, is it good to get that attention from your kid? Is good. But then at the same time, you need that little bit of space. Do you understand? Where you can just take like 2 seconds for yourself to just get a breather in, like
I really
to
applaud you guys. I really applaud stay home
you
mom.
need that 2 seconds. And so many people just feel like, oh, if
Mm.
you're staying at home, you're just chilling and eating. You really don't, like, with the way your mind is set up, you don't even think about a lot of things to do for yourself because you're more worried about the baby. And then
Mhm.
even when the baby is sleeping, you're not sleeping because you have things to do. You have to cook, you have laundry to do. Like, staying at home is not something I envisioned for myself.
I
I'm
applaud you guys because I
not
cannot.
It's not something I envisioned for myself when I first had a kid, but with the way my son was born and
Mhm.
everything that happened, it was a decision that my husband and I came to, that okay, it's best for you to stay home with your son because
Yeah.
he still has to go for a bunch of doctor's appointments just because of like to make sure he's fine and like he's catching up with like developments and stuff, and he's passed and he's hit all his milestones and passed all of that, but it's still a lot. Being a stay-at-home mom, it takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on how you take care of yourself. Like if you're one of those people like me who before I would always go to the nail salon twice a month. I would go get a wax, I would do my eyebrows, I would do my hair, I would do a lot of things. Just I would have me time. But now it's like to go to the nail salon, I have to like plan it like a month ahead and like schedule it in my head and know like I have to go to the nail salon. Like if you've seen my videos, you would see that I pretty much go to the nail salon with him because I would not leave him at home because I know that if I leave him at home, I'm going to be calling every 5 minutes from the nail salon to ask, is he sleeping? Is he eating? What is he doing?
Mm.
What's going on with him? Did he fall down? Like I'm in the bathroom taking a shower and my son is like right there. And I know he like I can hear him like right there on his high chair. So it's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff. It's a good thing. It's a good position to be in if it works for your family. But then again, it takes a toll on you.
So what do you do? Because I know you're going through it right now. So what do you do for your mental health? Like how have you what have you done to keep your sanity? Because
I
it's
take
already 11 months.
I take time for myself. It's not a lot of time, but 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Those things count. Like days when I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go out and just walk around the house. It just helps me like fresh air. I'm not in the house. Like
Mhm.
on the weekends, especially, I know my husband is home. So I can be like, you know what, grocery shopping, I'm not going with this child. Both of you should stay at home and figure yourself out. And I would take my sweet time grocery shop. Like I would take my time to just walk around the store and just rejuvenate like my mind and just cool down. Like it's not a like somebody be like, oh, that's not a lot of stuff. But for me,
It's a lot.
that's 1 hour when I'm out of the house without like the baby there with me is a lot. It gives me time to just breathe and think about things I want to do for myself. And like
Mhm.
little times when I get to I go to the nail salon, it's a lot for me. Like I take that, like I can't, like those times are important to me. Like I really, really take it in. It's really good. It's really helpful. So that's a few things here and there.
Good. That's good to know. Hmm. That was good. That was good. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the comment, question. We really appreciate it. So,
Please leave your if you have any more comments or any more thoughts, leave it in the comment section in this video. We're still going to be replying people in the comment section of this video once it posts on my YouTube channel. So please leave your comments. Just let us know what if you've had fibroids or if you know somebody who had it, and if you are a stay-at-home mom, what it is to be a stay-at-home mom or raising a kid abroad without any help, if you have help. Nasira say I
mhm.
go out sometimes. I even cry or leave the kids with their dad and have me time. But then again, sometimes when I go out, I think a lot. I think about them. Yes, you are not you are not alone. It happens. Like you know that thing that they say where you're in the shower, you kind of hear a baby crying.
You're like, what is going on?
It happens to me a lot. Like I feel like I'm hearing, even when he's sleeping, like I just somehow just hear another kid crying or imaginable kid crying, and it's a lot. Like my son is extremely clingy. Like for him to sleep, if I put him to sleep, he would not sleep in the crib. And I think I've mentioned this before. He sleeps right next to me. At night, he kind of like holds me like this is my wife. I'm gonna hold. That's the only way he would sleep. If I wake up in the night to go use the bathroom, he wakes up.
Oh
sits,
wow.
and he's waiting for me to come back. When I come back in bed, he lays down and puts his hand on me. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Every day like that?
Yes. That's just how it is. Like he wakes up and it's like the first time he did it, I'm just like, what is going on? Why is this child doing it? And with that, like I hardly wake up at night to go pee or to use the bathroom because I'm like, I don't want him to wake up. I want him to sleep through the night.
Wow.
I put him in his bassinet. He wakes up and crawls out of the bassinet and comes into the bed. So I can't really do anything. Boys are clingy. Boys are really clingy. Venera, hello. Hi, thank you for joining. Boys are
yeah, they are. But me,
I don't know how it is baby girls.
they are clingy too, but I cannot do. I don't know how you do it.
It's a lot. It's really a lot. But thank you guys for watching. We've been on this for an hour. If you like this video with us, please go back to the beginning and watch and just share your thoughts with us. We really appreciate all of you guys for joining us.
Thank you all so much. Yeah.
Popsia Lifestyle, Nasirat, Damilola,
Mariam.
I really appreciate each and every one of you. Cami, I really appreciate you. I love you guys so much. And we've come to the end of this. Let me go take care of my little man. Leave your comments in the comment section, share the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you,
Bye,
baby.
everyone.
Bye.